In this week's video, let's discuss 15 of the most satisfying moments in Astroneer. You know, those moments that make you laugh or cry for joy or just leave you speechless. This is Kuya Game and the satisfaction starts right now. The first obvious thing that you're gonna notice when you first start Astroneer is how beautiful the panoramas are. Each planet has its unique look and you will fall in love with the planets even from the distance. The panoramas are great, and as you explore new planets they will satisfy you in different ways. Calidor's striped clouds, Versenia's hills, Glacial's red dust, even Atrioxig's fog in its own way. And when you thought it couldn't be any better, sunset comes. How beautiful and satisfying. Now about our next point, I'm not really qualified to talk about true flat, but how satisfying is it when you place down a leveling block and start terraforming the planet in a perfect true flat. And if that was not enough, you can even use 45 and 90 degrees angles and spread flat soil like butter. I think this is really up in the list among the most satisfying and relaxing things in Astroneer. Well, after you're done with some nice true flat or fake flat, also known as not flat at all, what about painting the soil? This has to be one of the most satisfying things ever in Astroneer. Just look at those corners coming together nicely and precisely. Or just make your artificial base look more organic through some coloring. This is so relaxing and one of my personal favorites, but don't tell my family or they'll ask me to paint the wall at home. The next one is not very relaxing probably, actually it could be the opposite, but it's just as satisfying. Grab some TNT and make your world explode for no reason. That's what I'm talking about. And you can do it in many different ways. The most satisfying way in my opinion is by using a VTOL and bombard the planet while flying. Look at those silos getting packed up and the dynamite falling and finally exploding, putting a smile on our faces. So not very relaxing, especially for those that happen to be below it, but very, very satisfying. Exploring with a large rover is already satisfying in itself, but what about a rover with thrusters? And if you attach a paver and a drill too, you have just found the best way to pave your world. Because let's be honest, thrusters on a shuttle are a bit boring, but attaching them to a rover makes it incredibly funny and satisfying. We all love to gloat and boast when we complete a contraption, that's normal. So one of the most satisfying things is to stare at it. I mean, some nice automation, what can beat that? And it's double satisfaction, because one, it's working, and two, you're looking at it, then you remember you're the one who made it. That definitely gives you a reason to humbly boast about your creation. And speaking about contraptions, well, I have to mention the vendor machine. You know, what can be more satisfying than selecting a resource, select how many you want to get, then just sit down and wait for your resource to be delivered, the exact quantity that you asked for. And I may be obsessed with it, I have to admit it, but I love to always double check and verify that I actually got the number of resources that I had selected. And all the time, it is the correct amount. And this is likely to be on the platform of my favorite satisfying moments ever in Astroneer. Like, Top 3 for sure. I could genuinely do that all day long. And I thought I'd spend a few more words for Odo Arm's lines. I mean, look at that! Synchronize with the right pace. Too cool. The next satisfying thing is to find the known by the technical name of giant power thing. And trust me, those that call it wrecked solar array are just boasting their knowledge. Well, this is mildly satisfying because when you find one, you have gotten yourself some pretty decent amount of free power. Well, when the sun shines and after you have dragged it to your base. So I would call this mildly satisfying. Buying a new suit or unlocking a new color palette is certainly more satisfying. You can choose your look, decide if you're going to be skinny or chubby, look like an alien or go to the disco. Very satisfying indeed. Flying in Astroneer is all. With or without a hoverboard, nobody wants to go around without a jetpack because we all want to feel like Iron Man, right? And even though Astroneer is kind enough so that even if we are using only one jetpack results in a straight flight, how satisfying is it to use 2 jetpacks? For one reason, your backpack looks more balanced and you don't feel awkward. Then you know that you're rich of hydrogen, because if you're not, then just don't use 2 jetpacks. It's a total waste of hydrogen. But if you do, you will feel wealthy definitely. And of course, with 2 jetpacks you will fly faster, and this is so satisfying to know that you are traveling as fast as possible. One more thing, you can feel the breeze in your hair. Never underestimate how cool you are going to be with the air moving your hair. I mean, you could even advertise shampoos on TV, you know? That could be your way to get famous. The next very satisfying thing is to eventually find the resource you have been looking for. Oh man, this is satisfying because mainly you must be exhausted. I mean, you have been looking for clay in every inch around your base, under the carpets, behind the fireplace, and finally, not only you find some clay, but you find a huge deposit of clay. Oh, how satisfying is that? And on the same topic but slightly different, let's discuss the way you're going to collect resources. Are you going to dig? Well, that's fine, but have you tried to use the flat mode? Oh, look at that! It looks like they're multiplying. And I'm not even sure I've got enough room in my inventory, but who cares? I want to get as satisfied as I can. Sliding down a slope is also a mildly satisfying moment in Astroneer, and I'm calling this moment because most of the time it lasts just a moment. You know, like when as kids we used to go down the snowy hills with a slide and you had to walk up for so long, but when it's time to enjoy the ride, it's actually super short and quick. Unless you pave a slope to the core of the planet. That gets quite more satisfying actually. Odd extractors can be very satisfying. Not all the times, but that's what makes something satisfying, something cool and unusual, right? They give me tons of satisfaction when you place them on a resource deposit, come back after some time, and the canister got filled up. With the icing on the cake. Which again does not happen very often, as there is a bug in the game that has odd extractors stop working randomly. But when it does happen, oh, it's super satisfying. Like, you're going to your extractor expecting, knowing that it must have stopped, but actually the canister got filled up. Oh, that's incredibly satisfying. Odd extractors are very satisfying too when you place them and you get a full green bar. I mean, it's just perfect. What can you ask more of a humble odd extractor? And finding a marble is always a nice feeling, no doubt about that, but striped balls are almost common nowadays. but finding a checker or leopard ball is one of the most satisfying things in the game, for sure. You won't find many of these, and once you have collected one, you should definitely expose it and brag about it. And for no reason, you wouldn't want to make it explode, right? Exactly. And with this sad and weirdly unsatisfying thought, these were some of the most satisfying things in Astroneer. Did I forget any? Oh, surely I did. Scoff me in the comments below, have no pity. Let me know what things you find satisfying in Astroneer, because I may publish another video as well on this. And smash the like button if you have found these 15 things satisfying. Don't forget to subscribe to get weekly satisfying Astroneer videos, and join the channel as a member to get exclusive Astroneer contents. I mean, what's more satisfying than this? I generally wouldn't know.